In this video, we're going to be going over balancing the Steadimate RS. Here we have a Ronin RS3 with a DSLR balanced inside of the Ronin, and then a fully installed Steadimate RS. Here we also have the balancing spud on a C-stand. So we're going to take the Steadimate handle and insert it into the balancing pin, and then I'll close up the tripod legs so they don't interfere while I work on balancing. Ensure that your gimbal is on while you're working on balancing the Steadimate RS. From here, we're going to first check our drop time. So I'm going to hold the rig like this, and then I'm going to see how long does it take to pass its vertical point or past the C-stand. So from here, 1001. And from what I saw, it looked like it was a little bit less than half a second. Typically for the Steadimate RS, you want to be somewhere between a half a second to 1 second, or depending on whatever your preference is. Based on what I saw, I could use a lot less weight down here. So I'm gonna work on one at a time to remove the counterweights. So I remove this counterweight and I take the ½ pound off the £1/4 pound and replace back the £1/4 pound weight onto the rod. And I will proceed to do this for each set of weights. And we're doing this one set at a time because if we try to remove too many weights at one time, the rig has a chance of flipping over upside down on us, damaging your Ronin or your camera. Now that we have the counterweights swapped out and just the £1/4 pounds here at the bottom, we can double check our drop time. Again, we're gonna pull the rig, release it, 1001, and we are now getting closer to a ½ second drop time. But I feel like we can get this even slower, so our next move is to move the rod clamps up the post, which will slow down the drop time. And we're gonna do this one at a time. We're gonna loosen the rod clamp and slide it up. And I'm gonna bring it to the 16 mark. And then I'm gonna re-lock down the rod clamp. So we're gonna go to the other side, loosen this rod clamp, slide it up to the 16 mark to match the other side. And then we're gonna lock the rod clamp in place. So from here, we can double check our drop time. Hold the rig like so, release it, 1001, and now we are at about a ½ second drop time. Now a good test you can do for yourself is if you like to operate at the gimbal grip, tilt the rig and hold it in this position. If you feel like this is a lot of weight for your hand to handle, you can continue moving up the rod clamps to slow down the drop time. Now as you may have noticed, when we move the rod clamps up the post started to lean a little bit and it's no longer staying vertical. To adjust for this, we loosen one of the rod clamps. We're gonna do this one at a time again, supporting it with my other hand. And then we're gonna slide the counterweights uphill. Tighten that back down. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other side to match. Lock down the rod clamp. And now, as you can see, our post is vertical. As an added note, I would like to point out that if you operate with the thumbstick, if you point the lens in a way that is no longer in line with the counterweights, you may notice that the rig will tilt over in the direction of the lens. This is completely normal due to the isolation of the balance that happens with the Ronin compared to what's going on with the Steadimate RS. It should not interfere with your operating, but it is something to be conscious about. To come off of the balancing pin, we reopen the tripod legs, lift up and off, and then place it on a table nearby. And that is how you balance the Steadimate RS. Please watch our other videos on how to install and operate the system.